this, and you ever really just feel like you need to get stuff off your chest, kind of what this video is going to be about. Lots of things, lots of different things, don't want to listen to it, get bored with it. I understand, it's going to be kind of me ranting, getting some stuff off my chest. So, how this whole video kind of got started was actually Survivor Girl. Yes, Survivor Girl. I'm not going to really get into her right away, but Tuesday, because that's when Brian Alvarez uploads his newsletter, which I am a subscriber of, read his newsletter, came across something, kind of really started getting under my skin a little bit. And then, after that, I went to 411, where I go read lots of different articles, and they have an article up talking about the worst booking, or the biggest booking mistakes, or the worst booking mistakes of all time, that sort of thing, which angered me a little bit again, because these people didn't realize that really the worst booking mistakes are the mistakes that kill companies, not the ones that just piss you off. No, they're the ones that kill companies, and there have been some that either have killed companies or have come close to killing companies, or they've never recovered from them. Then, tonight, and this is where we're going to start, but anyways, you know what, let me go back to the 411 article, because that just, and it also made me realize that, again, there's a reason why the wrestling industry doesn't listen to a lot of us, because there are stupid people that say stupid comments that just make you go, wow, they don't know what they're talking about. And it's like, Jesus. So, there is that. And so that started making me think. And then, after that, tonight, I got an email. Little email from TNA on their mailing list. They sent me an email letting me know I could buy tickets for Bound for Glory at some point. And in the travel package thing that was up and ready. And I saw on there that Don West had his little, insane deals, deal of the day, whatever you want to call them. He had some new of those up, and I clicked on that just to look at it, and nothing really just jumped out at me. But, go all down, you look, there is Jim Cornette's new, or not new, but his book about the Midnight Express, which is said to be a very good book. I don't have it. I keep wanting to buy it, and I just don't, because I just don't have the spare money for it at the moment. But I want to buy other things. But I do plan on getting it at some point, because I really do want to read it and look at it. It's supposed to have lots of interesting things, kind of more of a scrapbook than actually, a book. But anyways, it's said to be really good, those that have seen it and talked about it. And it dawned on me as I'm looking at it, because Jim Cornette himself, apparently, rated the item, because you can rate items on TNA Shop, which you can do the same thing on WWE Shop, on the Shop Zone as well. So I was like, you know what? I wonder, what does Hard Justice 07 have? So I go to Hard Justice 07. Bop. And what do I see? There's a 5-star system on this. 5 stars. I want to make that apparent. 5 stars on this system. Hard Justice 07. Pretty famous pay-per-view. For all the wrong reasons. Did it have 1 star? 2 stars? Had 3 stars. It had 4. I'm not going to put my hand the other way, because if I put it the other way, that would just be disrespecting that whole symbol. 4 stars. I was like, oh my God, you have to be kidding me. So I'm like, if this got that, well, I wonder what, well, surely Destination X09 doesn't have that. I go there. 4 fucking stars. And then I'm like, this is retarded. Either A, TNA's doing this themselves, or B, there are people that are going to Shop Zone 4-starring this either for jokes, which if they're doing it for jokes, they really shouldn't do that, and I'll get into that. Or there's people that actually enjoyed this pay-per-view to that extent. Oh my God. And I can kind of comprehend liking or thinking that, you know what, Hard Justice 07 was okay. It was almost good. I could perceive someone thinking that in their warped, demented mind. kind of. I would still think it was warped in a minute, but I could comprehend it. But Destination X09? Oh my god! Anyways. So I started thinking, you know what, I need to do a video. I need to come on here, I need to tell people, you know, the 1,000, probably 1,500 people that will see this video. That's pretty much what my non-pay-per-view videos average. Go on there and tell them, go to Shop Zone, or not Shop Zone, go to TNA Shop and 1-star these bitches. Do something, because this is sending the wrong message to TNA. And then my mind started going some more, and I'm like, you know, should I really expect less? Because, you know, TNA is up here on YouTube. They're a partner of YouTube. Of course, if you go to their videos, now, the Destination X9 video was a little different, and I haven't seen any of their other videos, but primarily whenever TNA sticks a video up there, there's all of these comments that are very nice to TNA. Aren't telling TNA the problems, aren't telling TNA what was wrong with the video, what was wrong in the video, or people venting their frustrations to TNA. Now, I'm sure most people just don't give a shit anymore, and that's fine and dandy. And I understand that. And I know there's lots of people. I know lots of people that have said that they're not. I believe A-Stone has said he's not going to do any more TNA WWE pay-per-view reviews. More power to him. You know, and I know I've seen a couple of videos now where people are screaming about, you know, people keep complaining about TNA and WWE, and, you know, there's more wrestling out there, and there is more wrestling out there, and I've been screaming this since I've been on here. You know, go see ROH. Go see Jakara if you like Jakara. Maybe you'll like PWG. I don't like PWG. I think people overrate PWG. I just cannot fathom why people just say PWG so great, because you know, they have, every once in a while they have a really, really good show to great show, but they have nothing that I would say is spectacular, and nothing that you really need to have, especially over the last probably year and a half, in my opinion. And I haven't seen 100 yet. I've heard 100 is really, really good, but you know, and DDT might be good this year. I've heard mixed. I've heard one guy who reviewed it, but I'm kind of because he's really, really, really big on PWG, and I'm just not big on PWG. All of that said, you know, there's Japanese wrestling, which you can easily find here on YouTube and elsewhere, which definitely could get your fix, and you'd be like, oh my god, why have I been watching this other crap? Anyways, back to my point. There is all of that, but I see all these, you know, friendly comments to TNA, and I'm like, you know, they definitely don't get it when their ratings are somewhat stagnant. They definitely don't get it when, amazingly, the Knockouts have, I believe, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, gotten the highest rated segment on their show, and Daphne and Tyler Wilde got their, I believe, got one of the biggest segments TNA has ever gotten on one of their shows. And of course, TNA disappeared. We didn't even really see her, or Daphne disappeared. We didn't even see her on, or Tyler Wilde for that matter, on really on the pay-per-view, except just in little bit parts. And then, you know, Daphne on last week's episode got thrown out right away instead of keeping her in the match as long as you possibly could. Even though, hey, I like the girl. She's not the best wrestler in the world, but she's good enough to where you could have kept her in there and people could have, you know, helped her out, so to speak, or carried her, I guess. And all of that. But it just boggles my mind to hear, you know, and just kind of illustrates a point. People want something different. If they didn't, they wouldn't watch TNA, and they wouldn't flip through the channels and stop when the women are on and they're actually wrestling, unlike what the WWE does, where they just go out there and look pretty and sometimes wrestle, but most of the time don't. There's maybe 3 women on the entire roster that can actually wrestle, and the rest of them are just there to look pretty and really should be managers or valets, but they put them in the ring and it's very bad and poor. And TNA does that to an extent, but let's face it, they have a lot of the best women wrestlers right now, so there is that. Let's see. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes. Different. You know, TNA could be really good, in my opinion, and I think they could be very successful. Well, not very successful. I think they could be successful if they would just do things that were different from the WWE. How many times do we hear people just say, just be different? You don't have to copy what the WWE is doing. You just have to be different. For example, all the titles should be on all the pay-per-views all the time. And if they're not, there needs to be a damn good reason. Unlike WWE, who does that once, Night of Champions, which is that. That's the night that all the championships are up for grabs. They have so many championships. TNA, every championship should be on every show. At least every champion should be on every show. Wrestling, maybe not defending the championship, depending on, but there better be a damn good reason why they're not defending the championship if that's the case. You have a tag team division. TNA has a really good tag team division. It could be a great tag team division. I'm a big believer that if you have a hot tag team division, usually there's something else going on, and there's just, the whole promotion is just hot at the time. If you go back and you look at when there's just been really hot tag team division, usually, somehow either it carries over or something happens and it's just a hot promotion. So just my opinion, might be wrong on that. Someone might call me out on it, but just kind of the way I see it. There you go. Let's see, what else do we have? But just be different. Do stuff that is different from the WWE. The WWE is continually pushing the same guys over and over and over again. I know a lot of people, because if you go and you read, I talked about the 411 article where they were talking about, the worst booking mistakes. A lot of people brought up the invasion angle. I don't consider the invasion angle one of the worst ever. I just don't. I mean, I would even put it maybe in a top 10. Why? Because I think the way that they booked Goldberg when they brought Goldberg in was far worse than the invasion angle, because the invasion angle, they were going to be kind of pigeonholed in what they could have done anyways. Didn't turn out as good as it could. Could it have been the greatest angle of all time? Yes, it could have. Did it turn out to be like that? No, it didn't. It failed miserably on that. But it didn't kill the promotion, And when Goldberg came in, I think that did hurt the promotion, because they misused him completely. They didn't use him like they should have used him because of ego. Ego is usually the reason why things like this happened, and there you go. There you go. They brought up the, and I would disagree with that. But with TNA, I think you can actually go back to Monty Brown. I'm a big believer that that if they would have given the title to Monty Brown when he was hot, and let him be the guy who eventually would have feuded with Joe, and then, not even with them knowing it, had built up Joe and Monty Brown to the point of, then Kurt Angle comes in, and when Kurt Angle comes in, Joe is not only the champion, Joe is like the face of the company. Now you have Kurt Angle coming in, and would have made that feud even more hotter than it already was. That, was probably their biggest payday feud they've ever had, and and maybe this promotion would be even bigger than, I'm not saying they probably, maybe they'd be closer to doing 100,000, buy rates instead of somewhere around 25 to 15,000 buy rates. Which is always kind of my point with TNA is, if you give people a reason to buy your product, they will buy your product. I'm a big believer in that. I think if people see a product that they like, they will buy it. At least I hope that that's the case. TNA is just so, I just don't get it. I don't get the fact of how, if we had, the best free TV matches, and I shouldn't say that, the best TV non-pay-per-view matches, TNA I don't think would have anything in the top 10. It would all be WWE and ROH. And WWE has, 6 hours of television, and ROH has 1, okay, and hours of television a week, and they have 2. You would imagine that they would at least have 1 or 2 throughout the first half of the year that would be on that list. I don't think you could come up with one. Maybe someone can, jog my memory on something, but I don't really remember anything that would be, considered that. It would be ROH and WWE, dominated. It amazes me that this company does not understand this. And now Jeff Jarrett's gone, and now, Vince Russo now has free reign, which is why we got what we got last week, which was utter bullshit. Yes, they popped a high rating. I don't give a shit. That show was wretched. But yeah. But anyways, let me talk about, because this is the other thing I wanted to talk about. Anyways, my whole point of this was that fans need to voice their opinions toward TNA more. I don't know how they would do that. I mean, I guess you could go to the website, maybe the shop site, and voice your opinions there on certain DVDs and star rate things the way that it should be star rating instead of the way these wacky TNA fans are star rating and stuff. Or get on their videos. I know that they took down the Destination X09 pay-per-view video a bunch of times. I think 3 or 4 times because the comments were just so far out there, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't know they kept taking it down. I would imagine that's what it was because people were just so angry about it. But maybe that's something that needs to change. Maybe we need to start, voicing our opinions on those videos and just trying to do it that way. I don't know. But back to the other thing I wanted to talk about. Talking about the knockouts. Talking about the most atrocious match I've seen in forever. Survivor Girl. Apparently Survivor Girl, not apparently she did, went on her MySpace. And, I said that, Dave Meltzer should get an apology from her. Didn't get it. I guess since she thought I came up with the story to start with, I guess I should get an apology too. I don't know. I don't understand that whole bit. I don't understand why she didn't ask somebody, okay, who said this? This guy didn't say, oh no, he's just repeating what this guy said. I don't know why she didn't do that, but why somebody didn't do that. Maybe because apparently no one likes her. Maybe that's why. But on her MySpace, she posted this whole thing about the match and about how she enjoyed the match and she thought she did a good job and she thought it was because she was an entertainer, she was not a wrestling. Really? Really? I had felt bad because I was like, I called her a bitch and I was all this and maybe, it really wasn't her fault. TNA put her out there. Fuck that. Fuck it. That was not entertaining. Especially then I find out that, oh no, she didn't get the 2 weeks, by the way. The 2 weeks. I know Monoxide and MB have both talked about this. She didn't get 2 weeks. And by the way, it was Brian Alvarez who first wrote that story. If you see it posted and pasted somewhere, what I'm about to say, it's from Brian Alvarez. And any site that doesn't acknowledge that that's where it came from, you need to stop going to that site because that's bullshit. I'm sorry. Anyways, he found out that, oh no, they had been practicing that match move for a month. And that's what they came up with. Because that was not entertaining. That was hard to watch. She looked like a bad stripper. She looked like a bad stripper. I know big, ugly, nasty strippers. I've seen big, ugly, nasty strippers that are more entertaining. Because it's like, you see this pole right here? And then starts doing crap. Swinging around the pole, doing weird shit to the pole. You're like, how the fuck is she doing that? Just saying. Just saying. That would be more entertaining than the sliding into the ring and then the whole lesbian crotch, I don't know, to Charmel. I guess they were chops, slaps, I don't know. It was the most, I don't know. But, I'm sorry. You fail. Go away. Please, go away, you reality diva person, you. I mean, maybe you can pose for Playboy again. I understand TNA now has a Playboy thing, which scares the crap out of me because the thing I hate about the divas is that they all look like they're from Playboy, and to me that's not good. You want variety. You want different types of women because not every guy has the same taste. That's the problem with Playboy now. Is they airbrush them and they all look. Yeah, they look too fake. They look like Barbie dolls. Yeah, I mean, some guys want Barbie dolls. Some guys don't want Barbie dolls. Just saying. Anyways, yeah, that's just, no. I can't believe she would say that. She owes the wrestling world an apology for saying that. Not because she said, I'm an entertainer, not a wrestler. Well, if you're an entertainer, then go out there and entertain. Except that I've seen better entertainers go out there and do better than you. Jay Leno did a better job in a ring than you did. We won't even count the athletes. K-Fed did a better job than you did. He went out there and did an excellent job compared to you. That was actually pretty freaking entertaining. People were like, wow, that was actually not too bad, was it? And he probably has as much athletic skill as you do, maybe less. I don't know. I mean, he was a dancer. You somehow survived it. You were on Survivor. I guess there's some athletic skill with that. But I'm sure there's other people that I'm thinking of that I can't remember who probably, you know, put on better performances and were more entertaining in a wrestling match than you. I'm just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Anyways, I think that's it. I've rambled and ranted and gone off long enough. Oh, the 411 thing. I just want to say that to me, if you're going to bring up the worst booking angles of all time, maybe I already talked about this, maybe I'll talk about it twice, I don't know. I've talked so long, it really doesn't matter at this point, does it? Not really. I already talked about, I believe, Monty Brown. I think that's a pretty big one. I really do. I don't think TNA's ever survived from that, in my opinion. Also, I would add the fact that the NWO went on far too long, and that when Sting finally beat Hogan, the Horsemen didn't come in, and you had this unholy alliance of Sting and the Horsemen, and they didn't kill the NWO when they should have killed the NWO, and it'd be gone, and that would have been great, and wouldn't have led to my number one thing that I think worst booking decision of all time. Then you probably have Vern Gagne, who didn't put the title on Hogan for various reasons. Don't believe the WWE or Hogan version. There's more versions out there, and it's probably somewhere in between. But he didn't do it. Hindsight was 20/20. It did end up, costing him. So there we go. I would also throw out Hogan beating Yokozuna in 9 seconds or whatever it was. Yeah, not so good. Not so good. That, along with the numerous things going outside of the ring in WWE, almost killed WWF. I think you could make that argument that it took them 2-3 years to recover from that, because they pretty much buried Yoko and Hart all in one big swoop. Really good. Let's see, where am I at? You've got Bonnie, you've got Horseman, you've got Bonnie. Oh! Number one. The number one if you're going to do a top 5. Without a doubt. Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and One Finger. Yes. That killed WCW, ladies and gentlemen. Not David Arquette. David Arquette was just like a nail in the coffin. The Finger poke of doom. Go look at the numbers. Go look at the rating numbers. Look at all the numbers. That's what killed WCW. So, that's my opinion. Don't have to believe me. Not gonna be upset if you don't believe me. You can argue with me. You can comment. Do all that stuff. This video is probably very long. For all of you that hate very long videos, and you've actually watched the video, ha ha, on all of you. So, anyways, with that, I'm out.